It's a momentous occasion, certainly.
It's recording. I'm probably gonna leave. Hang on. Let's do a quick test. Let me send you the link in Messenger if you just want to open it on your phone and check the levels. I'm sending you a link in Facebook. It's if you just check your levels through that, just to make sure it's good. And we can start. As in, you guys talk.
Oh, no, we have to talk.
Okay.
Talking.
Yep. Hi.
Put your phone on max volume.
It is. Oh, no, we have to talk.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, it's working.
let's do it.
Is this thing on?
Wait,
Ready?
Yeah.
Episode.
I think it's the SM7B. You get like this bullshit over here. Like, god damn it. Living in the past, Alexis.
What?
She's gotta, you know what? Ophelia's gotta step it up a little more, and then we'll get her an SM7B.
What's that?
SM57?
Oh, the microphone.
You're behind.
All right, here we go. Episode 12, ready? 3, 2, 1.
You're running through the darkness. You're running through the darkness. Running through the darkness.
Hello, and welcome to Between the Covers podcast. I'm your hostess, Nyx,
And I'm Ophelia.
and we read a really weird romance novel this week.
Tell them where you found it.
I found it at Stop and Shop. It's called Hot and Badgered by Shelly Laurenston. And yeah, it was a bit of a trip.
You could call it that.
I mean, yes, I know we've already done a shifter romance novel. That was our first episode. But this one was a little different. First of all, it was longer than 97 pages. It was actually a pretty decently length novel. Much to my surprise, honestly. I picked it up at the fucking grocery store.
Some heavy world building happening.
Super heavy world building. Like, this woman wishes she were writing high fantasy, honestly. But she's not. She's writing shifter romance novels.
Why don't we start with her bio?
Okay, yeah, that's all you.
It was very...
Yes?
Is there something wrong with my lipstick?
No, you need to get closer to the microphone.
Oh, okay. Bare bones. So she's originally from Long Island, New York. And this is a quote. Has resigned herself to West Coast living, which involves healthy food, mostly sunny days, and lots of guys not wearing shirts when they really should be. And that's all it says.
Literally.
That's
all we know about Shelly Laurenston.
She also has another nom de plume, R.A. something.
Wasn't it Aiden or A.R.? I don't know. Who cares? We didn't read it.
It was for her Dragonkin series.
No, I'm kind of interested. Oh, wait. That was the one with the like hot dragon dude on the front with long hair? Yeah. I might read that. We'll see.
So do you want to go over the plot?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, sure. Okay. That was weird. Here's the deal with the plot. The plot was super convoluted. First of all, I have now since read a couple of books from this woman because I'll be honest, I was impressed with her world building. Like, she really created a whole fleshed out universe for animal shifter humans, like, in the modern day world. Like, there are so many clans. There are like the bear shifters and the cat shifters and the wolf shifters and the like miscellaneous predator shifters
And the hybrids.
Like, you know, so it's crazy. She did a lot of thinking about this. So I was intrigued. I read a couple more books by her after we finished this one. But she has this thing where she deems her main character to be a strong female character, but they're really all just fucking crazy. Like, they're not strong female characters. They're literally insane. And like in every single book that I've read by her, there has to be at least one genius level character, which is crazy to me because like geniuses are not that common. I mean,
but maybe they are in the
shifter world.
The shifter world.
I don't know. So anyway, basically the plot of this book is there's this dude who's a full honey badger shifter. McKilligan, right?
McKilligan's a father.
Yeah.
Yeah, Freddie McKilligan.
Mm-hmm. And he's a huge fuck up. Like, he has 3 daughters by 3 different women. And
all the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, he has a black daughter, an Asian daughter, and a white daughter. They're all different shifter varieties. So he's a honey badger. His oldest is a wolf badger mix. His second is like full badger, and his third is like Siberian tiger badger mix. And he also is just like he's like the quintessential absentee father, basically. Like, and he fucks up their lives. He's like stolen all their money. He's like fucked over other members of the family, gotten involved with all sorts of weird heists, is like been in and out of jail. So they all fucking hate their father. But he has like, because of him, they're all like fucked up. So I guess they're all criminals, kind of.
They are.
They're basically all criminals living on the underbelly of shifter society. And they kind of get entangled with the bears, like the society of bears, and the main character who's like the wolf badger hybrid who like can't shift. She can
grow fangs and
claws. She's like Wolverine. She's basically Wolverine. She's indestructible. Like, her skeleton is crazy strong. She can grow fangs. She can grow claws. She's strong as fuck. And she heals super rapidly. So basically, Black Woman Wolverine meets this really stolid, nice dude who's a bear shifter by accident. And then they end up falling in love. And it takes like 80% of the book for them to have sex. The end. I don't know. That's like the best way to describe it.
Well, at least it actually involves sex scenes, unlike some of the books we've read.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, there's a definite trend recently that I've noticed where, like, yes, there's a sex scene, and then there are a bunch of allusions to more sex happening, but they don't actually, like, describe it. They're like, you know, oh, then they finished, like, rolling around in the sweat-soaked silk sheets, like the alliteration. And then it's like, and then they had the rest of the night in store, ... Next chapter, after a shower, like, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, okay, you gave me one sex scene, and then you're going to tell me, like, they definitely have more sex, and then you're not going to let me read about it? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I'm not a fan of this, like, newfangled romance, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like implied romance, I guess. But there's so many fucking characters in this book. It's insane.
I made a list.
Please
share some of them.
Okay, you should share the most important ones.
Okay. Charlie is the main character. She's the
she's the wolf
half black,
badger.
half wolf, half badger.
It's a lot of halves. Yeah.
Max. Should I go more in depth? There's too many.
Okay, Max is the full honey badger Asian one who's a fucking sociopath.
She's
Legit.
crazy. She kills everyone in her way.
Yeah, she's always like smiling, and she's like, "I'll just slit their throats," and you're like, "What?"
They're all constantly armed to the teeth.
Yeah, somehow. I don't. How did they get these weapons? Like, who is selling these weapons to these women? They have criminal records. Like, she's just like, oh, and then I got another Smith & Wesson.
From
like,
the Shifter gun shop. Like the Shifter fancy restaurant, the Shifter fancy hotel,
dude,
and the Shifter grocery store.
Hockey arena.
The sports center.
The sports center,
where they
the
all hang
Shifter
out.
Sports Center with
The
a
shifter
Starbucks.
doctor.
Yeah.
The watering hole Starbucks.
Oh my god. It's just ridiculous. Okay, anyway, so we've got Charlie and Max
Stevie's the youngest sister.
and the genius.
Yes, she's a genius.
She's
She was a
also-
musical prodigy
Right.
as a child, and she gave up that life to become
It
a
was too much for
math
her.
and physics
Yeah.
prodigy. Mm-hmm. She has severe anxiety. She likes to hide in closets or cabinets. She likes to
hides
hide
in
in
people's
cabinets. She's a very small, skinny woman who shifts into a 20-foot badger with tiger stripes.
And murders everything.
Yes.
And then like needs a nap and like her meds afterwards. Super
She-
riveting.
Had a habit of going to
She
very
checks herself
fancy.
into super nice like rehab centers for rich people. Yeah, because her company will pay for it.
All right. Next, I have Berg.
Okay.
He's one of the bears. He's a triplet.
Yep. Berg, Dag, and Britta.
Yep.
Those are the triplet. They're grizzlies, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're
So
grizzlies.
they're super slow, like not quick to anger, but like super scary when they are angry. And
very
they,
strong.
They like grow the grizzly hump when they like get mad in human form or something. He was really nice though. I liked him as a male protagonist. He was
Yeah.
literally like one of the only like I guess you can call him the hero figure of these romance novels that wasn't a total shithead.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're always a
creep.
total shithead at the beginning, and then they're like, just kidding, he was a nice guy all along. But this guy, like, legitimately was just a nice dude the whole time.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
like, what is wrong with you? Why are
Too
you
nice.
getting
He put up
involved
with all
it?
of
I
their
know.
crazy antics.
Yeah. All right, so...
Dutch, I had next.
Okay.
Who is Max's friend, long-term high school friend or something.
He's not a honey badger. He's
A Wolverine.
That's right.
Yes, and he's Southern.
And he's very slick. He's the one who procures their getaway cars.
Mm-hmm. But he also tries to sell them off to a...
He tries to find them gainful employment, quote unquote,
Right.
with like a assassination company or some shit. It's crazy. This woman was like, I really want to write a romance novel. But wait, what if it were an action novel? And also, what if it were a mystery novel? And also, what if I had a jewel heist in there? And also, what if... Name anything.
And
it's in this fucking
At one
book.
point, Charlie beats up Dutch, and then Dutch's 5 Southern sisters show up and
they
beat
all
up
fight.
Charlie.
Yep. They're not important. though.
The next one I have is Kyle.
Oh, the prodigy, the hyena, right? Or
Is he-
jackals.
He's a
They're
jackal.
jackals.
Yeah, he's like a 17-year-old that just
Art
shows up. He's a
No,
sculptor.
he's Cooper's younger brother.
Right, and
and Cooper is the jackal shifter music prodigy that Berg and his 2 siblings were hired to protect. Mm-hmm. So and that's
and
how
then
they know.
Kyle has his own protector who's a
Who's a fucking panda
who
bear
eats bamboo.
who eats literally just eats bamboo all the time.
and Stevie thinks he's
Shin.
so cute.
She's terrified of all bears except for him. And she's like
She, like,
always hugging
squeezes
him.
his
And
cheeks,
yeah,
like,
she's like
"Oh."
pinching his cheeks and he's like, can you like
Shen,
not
you're
do
so
that?"
cute.
It's fucking weird. They're gonna end up fucking in the next book, you know that, right?
I'm sure. There was her cousin too, Carrie, and their aunt Bernice. I think.
Yeah, Aunt Bernice and cousin
And Carrie
Carrie
talks
talks
like
like
this.
boss.
She's horrible. She's like a bridezilla.
She was.
They
yeah.
they give them $80,000 to make sure the wedding happens. That's another plot point.
Yeah, that is. They're like, oh, by the way, also we're gonna hire you and your sisters as security to make sure that my like bratty daughter actually gets married
to this very
rich
rich
dude.
human.
Right? Yeah. But
then
then they
they-
find out she's fooling around with a polar bear on the side, and they're like following her. It's so fucking convoluted. Like, what is happening in this plot line? Like, you know how you can make those webs?
Yeah.
And you like a character web that shows how like all the characters interact with one another and shit. That thing would just be like a solid block. There would be so many little lines like going everywhere. It's like Game of Thrones shifter world.
But there's no incest.
Yet.
Charlie makes that clear.
Well, yet. Well, this is only the first in the Honey Badger series, so there could be more. I will tell you that the Wolfpack novels that I read, they're about a wolf pack that lives in Texas. And,
Are
like,
there other animal shifters in it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, the Pride series that she has like 8 or 9 books in it, and it's about like the cat shifters because they're like different or something. I don't know, whatever. They all have like their own little government, like.
Oh, and then they find out they have these
societies.
long lost aunts
Oh yeah,
who come over from Italy to
the Yetas.
kill. What do they want from? They want to take
Well,
one
they
of the
robbed
sisters.
all of. Yeah, they want Stevie because she's a genius.
Yeah.
And they convinced their fuck up father, Freddie McKilligan, to rob his older half brother of like 100
100 million
sterling,
Yeah,
British
right.
sterling, and like then they robbed it from him, so he like stole $100 million sterling, and then like didn't even have it. That was like a point of contention for them.
I don't think anyone listening is going to understand.
No,
the plot.
I don't even understand this fucking plot. It's crazy. This woman just picked too many like directions to try to go in. And it's supposed to be a romance novel. Have you seen the fucking cover? It's got like a naked dude on it. And
Yeah, can we see the cover? Yeah.
Yeah. And look, the fucking half naked dude, he's all like sultry and shit, but yet we don't get sex until 80% of the book has been completed. And then it was like weird. Like they went to a really nice restaurant, but it was set up by Dutch, and he like has a huge crush on Charlie, so he like basically facilitates her fucking burg.
Yeah, he gives them a love basket in the room.
With like condoms
Oils.
and vibrators and shit. And they're just like, this is totally weird, but okay. I guess we'll use them. So fucking.
And then they're up all night
Yep, they fuck all night
and then eat a huge bear-sized breakfast.
with bacon because Charlie can't resist bacon. She'll
Can
eat the
you
whole
resist
pound.
bacon?
I won't eat a fucking pound of bacon.
Maybe like a quarter pound, but definitely can eat it.
I mean, I love bacon, but it was just there was a little too much emphasis on how much she loved bacon. It was like weird. It stood out to
Maybe
me.
honey badgers like bacon.
Well, they always eat honey, right? There's
Oh yeah,
honey
they're
on
and the bears
everything.
eat honey.
The bears
everything.
eat honey.
Oh, and the baking. They buy her an oven.
They buy her a new oven.
so she'll bake for the bears.
Well, it's because when her anxiety kicks in, she wants to bake things. So she makes like pies and
I wish
cookies and like
that's a great coping mechanism.
that's terrible coping mechanism.
To bake?
Unless it's like beer bread, I don't know. That's really easy to bake. Like I could bake that when I'm not stressed. I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I don't like sweet stuff. Except for
I don't like eating it, but baking's fun.
You're not sweet, Scorch. Shut up.
I made a pie recently. I didn't even eat a single slice.
Did you give it to somebody?
Yeah.
Einar?
Yeah.
Nice.
But the baking part is fun.
I mean, sure, it was just another little idiosyncrasy that happened in the book, and you were just like, oh, better be aware of this, because this is a thing that happens constantly. Okay, so we've kind of meandered around the plot.
I'm
Do you have
sure
any more
there-
characters?
No, that's what I had. That's what I had on my list.
Okay.
There's like
There's so many
Mary
fucking
McKilligan. There's
They're the Irish cousins,
yeah.
right? They're Irish or they're Scottish?
Scottish.
They're the Scottish cousins.
Um,
They're the two twins
These
that
Italian
I don't like, fucking
twins,
remember their names because
Gerda.
they were in for the like last 25% of the book. There's all the bears. There's like
Tiny.
Tiny and Britta and Dag and all of the bears
the
that are
cats,
in their neighborhood.
Dion. Who's in the epilogue? Diane.
Diane.
It was
It's
Dion in the
Diane.
audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was spelled Diane. There's like the Smith, the
The
wolf
Smith
pack, the
family.
Smiths. They're like, ooh, don't piss off the Smiths. And everyone's like, the Smiths.
Oh, in the beginning of the book where they're talking about them as children, and then suddenly it's like 16 years later.
Oh, yeah, that was fucking weird.
Yeah, that's not a good setup to a romance novel, showing them as children.
Showing them as like not only children but manipulative little fucking shits. Where they basically got that guy killed. You do realize that, right? Like that's
I'll have to go back.
Well, because
I was too like,
they were taken in
absolutely
by
confused.
Charlie's grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
who was like the wolf people.
well, Freddie came back to Charlie's mother, the first mother, and then said, "Here's my other two daughters that I had
like,
after.
here, dump. And
Take
then,
them."
Yeah, and then Charlie's mom died, so they went to her grandfather, who was a wolf. And in that wolf pack, he wasn't the alpha. So then that scene is them as children having a talk with the
Right.
alpha wolf
Yeah.
at the time, who was like a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically like, oh, Charlie can stay because she's half wolf, but these two like shithead honey badgers have to leave. And so then like Max, the crazy one, picks up like a rock and slugs Charlie in the face with it so that she's like bleeding. And then she takes the rock and like smashes the dude's hand, so his hands are fucked up and Charlie's face is fucked up. And then Stevie, the little one, starts like screaming and crying, and everyone runs outside, and there's a dude with like bloody knuckles and like a child who clearly has like a huge, you know, bloody face. And so that guy's dead. That guy dies like because her grandfather becomes leader of the pack.
And they're always implying that something horrible happened to Charlie's mother, and they just like stop and are upset about it, but never
nothing's
explain.
ever expounded upon. Yeah, I don't know. This book was fucking weird, man. It was a
The
trip.
whole time I was like, what? How, why?
I know.
How? I just didn't.
Well, and
What is
every time-
going through this woman's mind?
I don't know. And every time they would introduce a new character, and I would be like, "Who the fuck is this?" Like, okay, great. Now another character to keep track of, and like, you know, they're gonna mention them at some other point in the book. There's gonna be some weird connection between like this person that you met within the first 15 pages and this person who comes in at like the last 10 pages. Like, I don't know. It was. She tried to do too much. That's just sort of my general feeling of.
Definitely too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Just a little.
They could have just focused on
Discombobulated.
Charlie and Berg, and it would have been better.
Yeah, I didn't really connect well with any of the characters. Like there
Not
was
really.
never, except for Berg.
It was too spread out.
Berg was literally the only character that I empathized with at any point, because the rest of them were just fucking insane. There was no way to empathize with Max, who's constantly just trying to murder people to like remove them from her path. There's no way to empathize with Stevie, who's having like an anxiety attack and hiding in cupboards for like half of the fucking book.
And she ends up in chandeliers and
Yeah,
other weird
and she
places.
crawls up walls and like hangs off of the ceiling and shit in her human form, and it's just like what is happening right now? I don't know. And plus, when Stevie's not having anxiety attacks and hiding in cupboards, she is fucking insufferable. Like her like genius, the way she talks to everybody.
Doesn't sound like a genius.
She does though, because she just views everybody else as like ants. She's basically like, well, I'm a genius and you're fucking retarded.
Oh, is it her that tells Charlie and Max, oh, you guys better find good husbands. When you find a good man, hold on
yes,
to them.
exactly.
Because you're not a genius
Right.
like me.
She's fucking insufferable. Not like no empathizing there. Charlie's a pretty inoffensive main character, I guess.
She's supposed to be the calm, cool, collected one of the three.
I mean, I guess she is comparatively, but like she
She
seems
attacks
very
people.
robotic though. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't. She's just like nerd, have to take care of my sisters. Burp, burp. Oh, there's a threat. Let me fuck it up. Like
Let me move in with Berg
after
after
we've known
weeks.
each other for like 2 weeks. That's like a separate issue though.
Right.
With all of these romance novels, they're just like, I met this.
Oh,
man
I love you.
and
It's
now
been
we're
2 days,
yeah,
and I love you.
Yeah, it's a little accelerated. Except for Barely a Viking, where it's like days became weeks,
became months, and she was a live-in nanny.
Right. Well, I don't know. Do you have any quotes about husking happening? It's like
The only
throwback.
quote I had, I forgot to write it down, but it was Stevie telling Charlie, when a bear tells you to bake, bitch, you bake.
Yeah. Hold on, I've got some highlights. All right. Here we go. Okay, so this is Charlie and Max having a conversation. This is right after they've tried to quote unquote rescue Stevie from her latest mental hospital rehabilitation place that she's checked into. So like the doctors wouldn't let them see her because the doctors are like, your sisters are fucking toxic, and she's like, oh, I love my sisters. And so Max and Charlie are outside in their stolen SUV. So Once outside, the orderlies stood in front of the doors, preventing the sisters from re-entering. Charlie and Max stopped by the SUV's passenger side and faced each other. "Now can I go in and kill everybody?" Max asked. "No. You and your half canine morals. It does nothing but get in the way. I know you're working hard to be a sociopath, but stop it. Sociopath is in the eye of the forensic psychologist working for the prosecution." Like, those are constantly, that's their banter.
And then immediately after that, she takes a rocket launcher and shoots
down
down a
fucking
helicopter.
helicopter down. And this was, hold on, what percent of the book? This is 11% of the book in. Like, yeah, this is a great romance novel, you guys. I don't know. Hold on. Let's see.
Oh, and that's before that she runs over someone in a Lamborghini, stolen Lamborghini.
Yep, she has human stuck in her grill. That's a quote. Yeah. I don't know. The sex scenes were very not as animalistic as I would expect to animal shifters.
Doesn't she bite him and then freak out that he's bleeding?
Yeah, she bites him.
And he's like, we're
he's
predators.
bleeding.
That's what we do.
Yeah, he's like, it's blood, like, whatever. Also, he's a fucking bear, so, like, that probably didn't hurt that bad.
Right.
I don't know.
They heal really quickly.
She heals really quickly. Like, hold on, let me see. I thought I had it bookmarked, but there's just like there's such minimal like I wouldn't call this a romance novel. Like, this is not a romance novel. This is like an action
Absolute
thriller, psychological horror, like coming of age story. I don't know. It's
just utter
like,
chaos.
It is. It really is complete and utter chaos. Hey, Scorch, can we get a time check?
26 minutes.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been talking my face off.
Do you have more quotes?
Yeah,
I'll read some if you want.
I've got some quotes. All right, hold on. I mean, they're not about sex, though, because there was no sex to quote.
Well.
All right, hold on. Can you see the underlined part? That's the quote.
So let me sum up. We've got 1 vote for total annihilation and 1 vote for forcing them to join the hockey team. Am I correct? Yes, both females replied.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, that was when they were at the watering hole.
Right.
The
trying to force them to join the hockey team.
Well, no, because they see Max get into a fight with their cousin, the other the Asian honey badger lady. And then the dude who like owns the shifter hockey team is like, "Hey, do you want to be my enforcer?" And she's like, "I don't know how to skate." And he just like takes her away and is like, "Join my hockey team. You're crazy." And that's like also an underlying story current that's happening in this book too.
There are a few mentions of the hockey team.
There's
Britta's on the team.
Britta's on the hockey team. She like, I want some of the wolves are on it or something. I don't know. There's like a fox that's on it. It's crazy. It's utter madness. That's what this book is.
Are they all predators?
Yeah, there are no prey shifters.
Okay.
Because
because predators are cool.
No, I found that out in the other books that I read, because one of them is like, "Are there any bunny shifters?" And the dude's like, "No," and she's like, "Well, you don't know that. You're racist against bunny shifters." And there's like a whole thing about it, but no, there are no prey shifters, because that would probably be weird. You know, like how could they hang out together? You just like, "I really like you as a friend, but my animal side wants to murder you." Wait, hold on. Speaking of, I feel like
there was also the plot line where humans would hunt the shifters.
Yep. That's another thing. That made me think of that short story, the most dangerous game, right? Where it's like the island and like people get shipwrecked on it, and the dude who owns the island is like crazy rich. It's like great literature. I had to
Who
read
wrote
it? I can't fucking remember.
I don't think I read that one.
It's called you know what I'm talking about, right? So it's like the short story where like humans are the hunted or the prey on that island.
Lord of the Flies?
No, not Lord of the Flies. It's a short story, not a short novel.
Is it Kurt Vonnegut?
No, it's way before him.
Lord of the Flies short? I remember that being called.
What? Lord
It's
of the
not
Flies
Lord
is
of the
a
Flies.
short ass book.
That was meant to more be like a big
It's like
fun
that
movie,
thick.
Which I didn't actually think was Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the
is a
Flies
short
was
book.
super short book.
It's not a short story.
Hold on, now I have to look this up because it's gonna drive me crazy. I think it's called The Most Dangerous Game. Dangerous Game. Short story by Richard Connell. Yeah. Yeah, also published as The Hounds of Zaroff.
What year?
1924.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, people get like shipwrecked on this island, and then they find this big house, and the dude's like, "Welcome to my private hunting establishment. You're the prey. You have 24 hours. Woohoo! And then I'm gonna hunt you." So it's like a whole thing. Anyway, it's relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, when they die, if they die in human form, they die and their body stays human. And when they die in animal form, they die and their body stays
So there's
animal.
shifters that are mounted on people's
Yeah,
walls.
exactly. Or like if you want to make sure that like the police don't come after you, make sure you kill your adversary when they're in their animal form so that there's no human body.
They're not too worried about leaving bodies
No,
around
they're
though.
really
in this.
not. Yeah,
They must have some
fuck
cleanup
up, like,
crews follow them around.
several Secret Service type private like military force people, like gangs of these people. They're like, "I'm gonna kill you. There are 14 of us and 3 of you. Ha ha ha." And then like 5 minutes later, it's like Max is slitting everyone's throats, Charlie is shooting people, and Stevie is a giant 20-foot tiger-striped honey badger that's ripping people's heads off.
The whole part with the wedding too, where Mary comes and tries to get Max, and she kills all the men in the room that are
God.
her men because
Right.
they saw too much. And
Yeah, and just the whole polar bear thing and the jewel heist. Like, she was only hooking up with him to like steal his jewels.
he
or
wasn't her
something.
boyfriend. He was her mark.
Yeah, this was a fucking crazy book.
And her mother, "You better seal the deal right after the wedding in a broom closet."
Right, consummate that.
So he
shit
has nothing to say
immediately.
about it.
Right. I can't. Although, like, I really hate myself for like kind of wanting to read the next one in this series. There's so many
It's the first time you've said that about it.
I know, right? But like, there's so many loose, like, unraveled plot points that like I need them to be neatly tied back together, and like, this is why this happened, and like, if she can tie every crazy thing that happened in this book into the next book, I will be so impressed. I want to be impressed. Like, please impress me, because at the moment I'm giving you like a 2-star rating, like 2 bleeding hearts out of 5 as it stands, but I'll bump it up to 4 if you can like tie your shit together. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's, what's the word? Discombobulated for sure, but there's like a better word that's just, I don't know. It escapes me.
Well, did her other Wolfpack series?
That was
it
way
more
more
complete?
neatly tied together. Yeah,
Was
absolutely.
the first one?
Well, it wasn't as crazy.
Yeah.
It was nowhere near as insane. It was just like, oh, this woman has wolf blood, but she doesn't know she has wolf blood. And then all these wolf bikers come into the Harley shop she works in, and then she falls in love with one of them, and then he bites her, and her wolf blood emerges, and she becomes a wolf, and then joins their pack.
Is it romance?
Yeah, it's like fucked up romance though. They're always hurting each other and shit. It's like not a healthy model for people. You know how people read like BDSM novels and they're like, "Oh, this is how BDSM is," and you're like, "No, this is how abuse is." Like, it's not BDSM. It's like that, where they're like hitting each other and biting each other and being like, "Fucking bitch, I'm gonna rape you," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm into it." Not into it. Like, yeah, this woman is probably on drugs. You hear that, Shelly Laurenston?
Wait, what'd she say about her California girlfriends?
They taught her the true meaning of sisterhood.
Yeah. Okay.
Sharing a meth needle. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. This bitch cray.
Wait, do you inject meth?
I don't know. I've never done meth.
Thought you eat it. I don't know.
No, I think you smoke it.
Oh yeah, right.
Because like the new vape like dab rigs kind of look.
Snort it, guys.
Do you snort it? I wouldn't snort meth. Do you gum
Let's
it?
ask the experts in the room over here.
Yeah, hey, meth heads over here.
So you smoke meth?
Yeah,
You
that's.
smoke meth.
I know. Yeah.
There,
And snort it.
You can insufflate it.
Well, they tried to get Stevie to make designer meth.
Oh right, yeah, designer meth. Oh, there was what was it? A Mexican cartel lord?
Wasn't Mexican. There were cartel lords.
Costa Rican?
I can't remember.
Same diff. Whatevs.
Somewhere south.
Guatemalan.
You don't. Shut up, Scorch. Ooh.
Was
maybe
it?
it was Colombian. It might have been Colombian. Yeah, shut up, Scorch. You don't have a microphone. Stop talking off mic. Oh, where's that? That sounds so familiar. Where did I get that phrase? All right. What would you give this book rating wise?
I'm thinking 2.5.
Oh, woo. We're doing
Yeah.
a half heart.
Yeah, I think this gets a half heart because it's not a 2. 2.5
Okay.
for
I can bend on that. I'll go 2.5. But I'm serious. If I will read the next one, not for this necessarily, but just like I'm gonna read the next one, and if it does tie together, then I'll bump it up to a 4 because the writing wasn't bad.
right. That's why I don't want to give it a 2.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Like I can like the plot, the number of characters, just the sheer ridiculousness of the individuals. Unbelievable. It was literally, I could not believe the characters were real people.
I like to believe there's a way to make it this chaotic and convoluted and crazy, but more interesting. It did
drag for a little bit.
I didn't feel like, oh, I can't wait to get back to this. And
Yeah. It was kind of, I think it was because it was too sporadic. Like, you never were with a group of characters long enough to form any kind of attachment.
right.
Because it was always jumping around from, like, these people to these people. What's happening
Let's
with these
show
people?
Mary getting broken out of prison, and let's show.
Yeah, like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, I feel like this needs to be a book this thick to tie up all of the loose ends.
And what happened with the Lion record producer?
The one that they beat the shit out of because
Right.
he did something that we don't know about to Stevie when she was a
Okay,
child.
they never actually explained what he did.
No. It was, I think it wasn't sexual in
No,
nature.
maybe he stole money or something.
No, I think it was that he was basically, what the vibe that I got personally was that he was taking advantage of her being like a 7-year-old musical prodigy to like make money, but like not make, like she didn't get the money, he got the money for being her manager or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he was,
But she still
swindling.
was making a lot of money herself, so.
I guess maybe
And it sounds
he
like
was, he
all
might
of
have been the
them
one.
are pretty well off.
I can't tell. They keep talking about how their dad fucked them over and like, you know, you wasted all their money and she couldn't go to college and she had to do this and blah, 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 blah. Like, but I was never clear on their financial stability. Somehow they were able to procure shitloads of weapons that were just strapped
Like a
underneath
rocket
tables
launcher?
and like, yeah, where
That
the
can't
fuck
be
did she get
cheap.
a rocket launcher?
And they were in a foreign country, too. They weren't even at home.
Yeah, they were in Italy, right?
At that point, Switzerland.
Right. Switzerland, and then they were
They
in
started
Italy,
out at
and then
Milan, I think.
Whatever, like, so
How are they flying around to all these places if they don't have money?
or like how are they getting onto planes with rocket launchers? Because she was like, no, I saved the rocket
The
launcher.
Shifter Airlines.
Inevitably. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, I feel like we could continue to talk about this book and people will still have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Don't you want to go to a Shifter restaurant and get some zebra? Some surf and turf, zebra and walrus or some whale blubber?
I've never had walrus before personally, but I have read that it is singularly unappetizing.
What about zebra?
Do people eat zebra?
I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. It's probably gamey. Like, they're living off of, you know, plain grasses.
I don't think I've ever had anything that weird.
Yeah. I don't... What's the weirdest?
I've had reindeer.
I've had alligator and
Yeah.
snake
Alligator's pretty good.
and squirrel. I have had squirrel.
You are from Alabama.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a condensed version of the phrase you all. Anyway, Shall we enlighten them as to our next book for the podcast?
We skipped relationship advice.
I have no relationship advice to give them. You're too fucked up. You should never be in a relationship with anybody.
Straight to the point. All right. Next week's book is Drake at Wig by Mallory T. Knight.
I'm pretty
Do you
sure
know what year it is?
70s. It's
70s,
definitely
okay.
from the 1970s. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting read about Dracula's sex pot daughter.
It's the first of our October spooky romances.
Spooky romance.
There may or may not be a special guest.
There may or may not be a special guest on. We'll see. We shall see. But I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. It's supposed to be pretty short and sweet and to the point. Hopefully lots of raunchy, disgusting sex scenes.
70s.
70s?
Harry.
Ooh, Bush. You're gonna need a weed whacker to get in there. Please don't tell me that you made that noise because you actually imagined somebody with a weed whacker trimming your pubic
That
hair.
is why I made that noise.
I'm disappointed in you.
I almost said that same thing out loud. It would have been creepy if you were about to it's
Hot.
Dude, and then you guys could go high five P after.
We're gonna have some confused listeners.
I know,
after that.
right? And they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? All right, so I guess it's time for plugs. At the bottom of the screen, you can see our personal Instagram handles, I guess is what you would call them. You can also find us, the podcast, on Instagram at Between the Covers Podcast. We are on Twitter at between_covers. We have an email address, betweenthecoverspodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook at Between the Covers Podcast. You guys should definitely check out the Bastard Sermon, who are a bunch of cool dudes who support what we do. We want to support them. If you are in the Vermont or Massachusetts area, definitely check out Havoc Mead. It's the best mead you're gonna get in this area, and they recently started distributing in Massachusetts, so if you go online you can figure out whether your favorite liquor store has it. You have any plugs you want to?
Well, our merch is coming along, so
That's right, yeah, we've got t-shirts in the works, and Between the Covers bondage gear if you're into it. I was trying to say we are, but I choked because the Lord didn't want me to say it. I'm just kidding.
you are.
Yeah, that's right. Miss
And
Prim
Scorch.
Proper. Yep. You need to figure. You know what? This is a conversation for a different time. We want to really thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Be sure to tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Unless we're assholes like we were last week, but that's not going to be the norm. Promise. So, Ophelia, do you want to lead us out?
Bye.
Really? Are you serious, bitch?
Good night.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
Between the
joining
Covers.
us between the covers.
And have a good night, guys.
I had tequila. Good night.
So much pleasure in the world.